let me see, like, you have Jupiter that was a god, and you have Zeus, these are just recycled. Minerva, you have Minerva, you have Athena. Athena is the Egyptians have their own Greek goddess, goddess of war called Neith. Then you have Mehet, it's they're all recycled. It's just some of them actually are more popular than the others. And because those ones are more popular, it's like, for instance, remember when the Romans came in and they attacked Alexandria, the library in Alexandria in Egypt. It wasn't the reason why. It was actually a calculated reason, because the library over there had so much history.
Correct.
It's like if you go back in history, there's a very, very specific reasons why dictators, the first thing they want to do is they want to shut down that knowledge, any means of knowledge or any means of getting people to get educated. Because at that point in time, you can essentially, dictators end up setting the rules, like this is how it should be, this is what's right for you, this is wrong. You can almost say, even during slavery in the United States, there was a reason they said that like blacks couldn't get educated, they couldn't read, they should not read or write outside. That was all on purpose, because it's like they want the more you limit people, the more you prevent them from gaining knowledge. It dampens that, and basically puts you and your generation at an advantage.
Correct. It's funny because I wrote a poem titled "When You Give a Woman a Book," and that was, I mean, most of my poems are real experiences, but that was something that was said to me, or said about me, that was told to me. They say when you give a woman a book, she becomes wise. And, it was said by someone really close to me, to someone about me. And I remember my reaction to that, which is, it made sense, because a lot of things that had preceded that particular comment reflected the desire to restrict the education. And again, it's a means of power to restrict knowledge. What a person knows is what empowers them. I mean, it's as simple as that. And so if you take away the books, then that means the person stays dead to their own power and their own rights. And so I'm one of those ones that that is negatively, like, how do I say, is really opposed to the restricting of knowledge, even for, especially like in our community, within the Muslim community, that Nigeria, we're partly Muslim. They ensure that the women don't go to school and this and that. I'm and in the Victorian era as well.
Sorry, can we go back? That's not. We don't want to say the Muslim. It's just.
It's not just the Muslim community. It's just it's
just some specific. That's like the
Yeah, we don't want to. Yeah, we don't. Oh no. We don't want to say the Muslim community, not at all. Yes. But in that region, maybe in some homes even. Yeah, maybe some homes even in Nigeria, in our Igbo land as well. But I'm trying to say something. Yeah, it grades.
Actually, it actually opens up to everything. There's like lots of. There are still some men, and not just in Nigeria, probably worldwide, where they once they get married, they want their wives to be limited in how far they go, because if that on its own is curbing their knowledge base. They don't want them to get that successful or build into that world because they get threatened. So it works in a lot of different formats. But sorry, I apologize.
No, that's perfectly okay. So yeah, I was just trying to tie that to what you were saying about like the restriction of the knowledge and eliminating their libraries and their that's a form of control, and it's passed down, and it's what they do. Just restrict the knowledge, make sure they get less educated or less aware of the world around them, and that's a way to keep them down, and it's quite sad. So yeah, that's great that your movie or your movies are sort of touch on Greek mythology. I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
Well, let me rephrase. Sorry. It's not just Greek myth. So basically, I have three lead characters, which is Athena, which she's probably one of the most popular gods out there, and the second one is Hermes, which Hermes doesn't get a lot of credit. So that's why I built. Then the third one is. Now the beauty of it is I do have like some African gods there, like Shango.
Shango,
we have Shango in there. Then we have Equinsu.
Do you have Equinsu? I like that.
You see, what's so interesting is, and actually I had to read on this thing because Equinsu. Every time we keep saying Equinsu is we know Equinsu as the devil. Now when Christianity came into Nigeria. What we had there is we had different, we had multiple gods. And the concept was all of these gods, when Christianity came, they're all parts of the devil. You understand? So what they did was, basically, they just said, okay, they just joined all of them. You understand? And then they probably gave it, maybe the God Equinsu existed, then they just basically summarized most of them into it. So you had God and the devil, because they didn't want to give each of the different gods there. Now, if you notice in the Bible, there are actually lots of different demons, like Baal. They even do have names in there. So what I did was I just thought about basically, I isolated just that god on its own, and he's a smaller character in there. But basically, it's just what I wanted to do was just create this montage of so much religion within so much mythology in this very tiny within this storyline, and just go down with it.
That's good. Well done. And I think you've done a great job. I was looking at the lineup of actors, and even just the little I've seen already, I see how, because it cuts across race, and the reason I keep bringing up race is because of the world we live in today. Race is such a big thing, it's so like, it's quite the thing that, should I say, it's quite the thing that makes or breaks things. But I like that there's a fusion of because this cuts across. This is Greek mythology, if anyone ever like read about it, or it has nothing to do with race, pretty much. Some people could argue that, but it was great to see that you had even like that. I like the black girl that you had, playing one of those roles. I thought that was great that you could embody that.
Because we had, even in the movie, there will be an argument, because I know that it's like almost like somebody's going to come out and be like, "Oh, why are you putting a black girl as Athena?"
Correct. But that was exactly what that particular character actually is, the one that made me feel so good about it, because it's like
the race about it. The beauty of it is we actually had to even address it within the movie, because one of the people, the person that they're chasing, looks at her, Athena, and she was like, "Wait a minute, you can't be Athena. You're black."
I see. You understand? That's interesting.
So, we actually even addressed it in the movie. But
that's so great. But I was just thinking something. Sorry to cut you off. I was just thinking that I can't wait to actually watch something where there isn't the awareness of race. And what I mean by that is, it's not even a thing. So let's go back to what we said about growing up in Nigeria and everyone being predominantly black. There were some white people here and there scattered around and all that, but the majority. And how for me at least, I can speak for myself, when that I didn't notice that I was as black as I was. How about I put it that way? Until I came here. Okay, and then it became a thing. And so I'm waiting for a time when I'll watch a movie, and there won't be, like, some of the movies I see here, the references to blacks, they are reflected in sort of like the socioeconomic lifestyle of the blacks, or the behavior. For instance, maybe like making the black woman seem like an angry person, or the black guys being to jail, like being like, or drug pushers kind type thing. My point being,
Yeah.
I can't wait to watch a movie where we are cutting out all of those societal things, at stereotypes and societal, whatevers, and just casting characters just based on their ability to present. And it seems like impossible because we deal with those social constructs already. We have to navigate those social constructs. So yes, it seems impossible, but I just can't wait until that's, is that something?
Mm-hmm. You see, how would I put it? The world built itself to a certain. Let me give an example. We all know about Othello, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what many people do not know is when Shakespeare wrote Othello, everybody keeps thinking like, okay, he just created Othello and he just created Othello, and because he created Othello, that's why. So he just created a Moor over there because I think there were lots of Moors in Spain in the old times. Mm-hmm. But the reality is, Othello was based on a Medici. Mm-hmm. You know about the Medicis, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I've heard of Medici.
So
Catherine Medici. Mm-hmm.
There's what?
I said Catherine Medici. I remember, she was the mother to the king of France at some point. I forget his name. Is it Charles of? Is it Prince Charles of? Yeah, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
So okay, so I don't get too many of them, so
okay.
I can't tell which one is which. But but you see, what happened was there was a Medici that many people do. There's a lot of prejudice on him.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of prejudice on him. His name was Alessandro di Medici. Now, if you check this is why representation. I'm going to try and tie it back. Is important.
Mm-hmm.
He was killed, but there's a lot of press like, he was a terrible this, he was black.
Mm-hmm.
The reality is he was basically his mom was a servant. Then one of the Medicis had a child with him. Then he started taking over the Medici name. Now this gentleman was who Shakespeare based Othello on, and it's I don't know why people don't emphasize on the uniqueness of this character. But now what I'm getting at is this, your time and where you are has to represent what you're thinking, what is going on in society. So like for instance now, in Nollywood movies, they have the concept of racism isn't in their movies because they don't know their prejudice is not on race, it's on tribalism, it's on all of those other stuff.
All the other stuff,
or it's on, they believe in, on witchcraft or this, that's that's what the people know. Now, in the States, though, it's like sometimes, like one of the greatest movies out there, Eva DuVernay's Selma, beautiful movie. It's like
Selma.
You capture a moment there. She captures a moment that is so great there that you can almost parallel to what is happening now. Now, so essentially, this is the world we live in. There's black, there's prejudice, there's all kinds of stuff going on. So it makes a lot of sense for me, that's from my point of view, for people to basically emphasize on what is going on within the society. Now, the stereotyping is a different, stereotyping thing is, I think that could be put a lot into ignorance. So like for me now, if I'm trying to shoot a movie, let me say I'm shooting a movie based and my character is from Montenegro. I would really love, that's my main character, I would really love to have somebody that's from Montenegro, because some things you might think, this isn't offensive, might end up being offensive. And that's what happens when you don't have somebody in the room where it's happening that represents what you're doing it for. So if you're doing a black movie and you have a bunch of white executives making that movie, they would basically just give you their own perspective of what it is to be black.
Yeah.
So in essence, I think that's what, you want a world where you want to represent, when people bring that stereotypical, black people are this, we're not capable of this, we're not capable of that, or we're angry black women, we're this, and then one day you have people doing all of that, you can almost tell that you're dealing with people that don't have empathy for that they have a general concept of this is what you are.
Correct. And it also speaks to people who are like limited to one location, because if there was an understanding of the greatness of the blackness, let me put it that way. I'm trying to say, and I'm trying to be really careful. If there was an understanding of it, it wouldn't be limited to those stereotypes, if I should say that. I've met a few people who impressed me greatly because they knew so much about Africa. They knew so much about even Nigeria and specifics about Nigeria. And in that moment when I engaged with them, my respect for them went up, because I knew that these are people who are, first of all, engaged with the world around them. And not only that, are well-traveled. And so I'm trying to say that you can distinguish between people who are limited in their understanding of blackness and lack the understanding of the greatness of blackness. If that makes any sense.
Well, you see, I'm going to tell a black secret out here. So
tell me.
If your wife hears, your white or non-blacks hear it, they would know. Mm-hmm. The reality is, there is no blackness. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, but let me put it this way. It's like, I'll just go with the concept of black. Mm-hmm. To be every race is assigned a color. They call you. They have different colors.
And it hasn't always been the case, though. It
hasn't always been the case. I think the beauty of assigning you are black. Mm-hmm. What black means is it has no color. Black has no color. Mm-hmm. Now, the idea of people saying blackness, there's a big difference between a black person raised in the South and a black person raised in the North. There's a difference between a black person in the North in Nigeria and a black person in the South in Southern Africa. There's a big difference between a black in Japan and a black in Mexico. Mm-hmm. The problem everybody has is they have this perception of the color of the skin, and they say, okay, based on this color of the skin, there's a general concept of your experiences are the same, your feelings are the same. So from my point of view, and again, it's my point of view, it's like, you see, it's like the devils you see in a white person, the devils you see in any race, they're also in the black. Correct. The only difference is just that when in certain societies where they push they just basically, they essentially look at the color of your skin, and they basically put a set of tribulations on you based on the color of your skin.
Correct.
And so maybe in that sense, yes, you can say, okay, there's this layer of blackness that gives a similarity, because no matter how rich you are, all these guys, even the richest of the rich, if you're walking down the street without your bodyguards or cameras or anything snapping, and they, and you go on the wrong place, wrong time or something, or they will see you like a gangbanger or this or that or this. It depends on if you're in the wrong place, the wrong time, around the wrong people. They automatically put you, and then they will treat you like that. They will look at you like that. I mean, it's like have you had this happen to you? Because it happens to me a lot. When I'm walking down, I start hearing everybody beeping on their cars, like, oh god, the black guy started, just in case.
Yeah.
Or when you're going to the elevator, everybody holds their purse and all. I mean, I thought it was an individual thing, but when Obama was saying that happened to him, I was
wait. The beeping of the car, is that? I used to think they do that because I'm hot. I'm just kidding.
Oh, hey, I wouldn't blame them. Actually, that's a good reason to beep my car.
That's a joke. Because it happens a lot, and I used to wonder, why are they beeping their horn when they see me, like I'm trying to get in my car or getting out of my car, going to my nail place or doing something. Why am I? Yeah. Why is that what it means?
I mean, it is what it is, but and the one thing is.
Where have you heard that before?
It happened. I'm not talking about what I heard. I'm telling you about what happened to me. You understand? I mean, you see, I have this unique ugliness that I love. You understand about me, that it has that scary radiation when people see me. And I get it, and where things I'm skinny as anything, and anybody, but at the same time, but it is real, it is there, and it's okay.
That's interesting. And it's okay because you have a good sense of self, and it speaks to me too, speaks to a lot of people I know. When you have a good sense of self based on, thanks again to the fact that you grew up in a different location and you kind of developed an awareness of self that allows you thrive in an environment like this that can be that can be interesting.
I mean, but it goes both ways, though, to be honest, because I will say clearly I have one of the best of friends that are white. You understand?
No. You're totally getting it wrong. This has nothing to do with color.
I'm not talking in terms of you. I'm just talking.
No, I said no. I'm saying this goes beyond color. Is what I'm saying. It's not has nothing to do with. It's not. I have a ton of great white friends. This has nothing to do with them white people or black people. No, but I'm talking.
I should emphasize too that some black people speak to when I'm passing.
Exactly. So it's sort of like, but it's just, I think what we're both trying to get at is, especially the focus being your movie, your movie, is that we experience things. First of all, we experience things differently. Even me and you, as Nigerians, everyone's going to experience everyone's going to have their, how they perceive stuff and all that. But the truth is that, for me, my exposure to people so far has been that the people who understand who I am are people who've traveled more, made the effort to educate themselves and understand and have an interest and curiosity about the world around them. It could be, people who've gone to Asia, South America, whatever it is, but they've left their immediate, their own location to attempt to understand the world around them. Those are the people that understand me and that I could say I honor or look up to. Not necessarily look up to, but I honor their their ability to do that and to understand me and
yeah, it's so weird. You said something that really got my mind going around, and it was very interesting. Like so
you have the right on you.
Look at the world around us, right? Mm-hmm. And then what was very I was about to say interesting again, shame on me. It's like if we really take a step back, and if we take a step back and realize like we are just tiny specks, we're literally tiny specks in a planet that's existed for thousands of years.
Millions.
Now that planet that we're dealing with, the planet Earth, it's actually a tiny speck in the galaxy that it's
correct.
And our galaxy is a speck in the outer galaxy, in the Milky Way and all of that stuff. I mean, it's like, it's very interesting. We think so much of ourselves, but in reality, we're so tiny a piece in the existence of the bigger existence. And it's like, we have, it's like we have this world that we have this life, this tiny life, and why waste it with stuff like prejudice? Why waste it with those stuff like jealousy, anger, envy, hatred? I mean, it's just do what you love to do and be happy.
Exactly. I agree, and that's why for me, I consciously reach out to different groups of people at different times of my life, because I can't experience life fully if I only see life through my own lens. I have to understand, and it's almost like it's a feeling that never leaves me, that desire to understand how the rest of the world lives. I mean, I've been a mom my son's going to be 20, for 20 years, and so that kind of slowed me down quite a bit, and I couldn't do a lot of travel, but I really look forward to a time in my life when I can get back up and go out there and just blend in with other cultures and people who, and understand the world, because that's all we have is,
Yep.
The world around, like, it's not the money, the big cars and the big houses. That's not a well-lived experience, if you ask me. A well-lived experience would be to be in contact with the world. Look, you learn from people every day. I don't care who that person is. Again, the person doesn't have to have more money than you. It could even just be the janitor in the place where you work. You will learn so much from that person. And for me, I have a desire to just constantly engage, and what's interesting? It's interesting that we're in a world now where social media, of course, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, now validate, the lives of, should I say, journalists. There was a time they looked at journalism as just a waste of time. But journalism is indeed the bedrock. It is what holds us together. It's storytelling is. That's what...
Spoken like a journalist, huh?
Yeah, sad, yeah. I can't help myself. But yeah, indeed, it's what keeps us together. It's sort of like the hinge. And I feel that we have lost that in our quest for just trying to, we've lost that. We've lost this very basics. And social media has come to reignite that part of our lives. And so now for me, it's not going to look like, oh, it's a waste of time. That you're backpacking through the woods or through different countries just to get a story. That's my idea of fun. That is my idea of fun.
I have to. It's like you said so much, and I have two questions from two different angles, and I can't wait to ask you. So let me ask you first. Let's start with. I don't know which one to go with. Let's start with journalism, right?
Yes.
Probably this is more of a statement. My thing with journalism, and I say this, it's like you guys have. I believe you're right, because let's take the Trump era, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which during the Trump era, there was a period in time where basically the journalists were they had something. It's almost like
they held society together. Say it.
They held society, they helped society.
That's another way.
They brought out the truth. They were bringing it out and all of that stuff,
mm-hmm.
which is great. But at the same time, I was listening to NPR, and they start talking about this guy that I don't know who he is. He was someone that ran for Congress.
Okay.
He was a former Navy SEAL or something like that. I can't remember, one of those.
Mm-hmm.
And this gentleman is going out and spewing lies, talking about the election is this, the election is that, and and the guy has like a massive following. He has probably one. It's basically trying to take over from Rush Limbaugh.
Mm-hmm.
And what's so interesting is, I've never heard of this guy.
Yeah, but then if I know the guy, I don't remember his name, but if I know who you're talking about, I have an idea of someone who is really terrible. His platform ended up imploding. Like something happened to his platform, because I think whatever he was doing, runs against journalistic standards. It's not just
but that's where I don't know what journalism is. Like during the era of Walter Cronkite,
mm-hmm.
you had that the news channel comes in, everybody sits down and listens, and everything that person says is believed to be 100% true. But right now you have like you have Fox News over here, you have MSNBC, two different stations that basically emphasize on two different things, right? They're both doing journalism, but they're doing it from two different points of view.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's the thing. It's like with journalists, it's like so much. I mean, there's a difference during the era of Trump. During the era of Trump, there was something to fight. There was like a clear, there was a clear enemy to justice, a clear enemy to the law.
Correct.
You understand? But now when you have a scenario where right now it's like things are happening. I don't like this guy. I didn't even know he existed, but he has there's so many people that believes in his idea of journalism.
It's quite sad, and there's really no way to eliminate the people, who do not. Yeah, you can't. But you have to have the discourse. You have to allow the discourse play out. You have to have the oppositions and the people who support you or who oppose you. And it's quite sad. You can't really affect people's belief systems. You just have to hope that people have values that will guide their behavior and their and so if they have people who like when we talked about Fox News, I don't have a problem. I used to listen to Fox News back in Nigeria, but now during the Trump era, it got really, really Republican. And not that that's bad, but it just got really, really bad. I don't even want to call parties, because part of my plan on my podcast is never to lean into politics. It's really like a no-no. But I think I just want to round up by saying that you will always find those people in society who, first of all, hold different views from you, but also who choose to just believe what they believe. And what are you going to do? You, as a good journalist, should just ensure that you uphold those good, those good principles and ethics of journalism, and just be impartial, be objective, just be fair in reporting.
But you see, that's the thing. The big money doesn't. Nowadays, it's all about having that show where you're promoting either the left or the right. Because that's what sadly. But what are we gonna do? We're just gonna have to, filter what we listen to. I guess you can only. How do they say that thing? They say you can change the world. If you want to change the world, start by changing yourself, right? And so you can't wave this magic wand and say people can't think what they want to think. They will think what they want to think. But maybe if you made that effort to think, in a manner that is fair, if that makes any sense, then we can start from there. That's kind of how I hold. I can't fight all the battles. I can't win even if I tried. So. All right, let's get out of politics. Let's go back somewhere else. Now, let's talk about your traveling. Tell me, are you the kind of person that likes to travel by yourself, just go to a place and get lost and figure things out, or are you the person that likes to go with the planned thing with like a group of friends and all of that stuff? Which is your perfect travel?
Which a good question. So if you had asked me this question 20 years ago, I would tell you that I am the kind of person that would be adventurous and just backpack and just go, and just go with the flow. Now, actually, maybe I'm still a little bit that kind of person, because when the kids and I came to California, we sort of just made our decisions as chose where we're going to go as we didn't have a plan basically. But yes, am I the kind of person that can be a solo traveler? I want to think so. Yes, I enjoy just learning about new places, and so however that's going to play out, yes, I will. Yeah, I will be adventurous enough. Guess this guy that passed, the guy that had the food channel, Anthony Bourdain. I wanted a job like that. As a journalist, I would have given everything to have his job. Oh my God.
It's so interesting though, because is he a journalist? Or
he is a journalist, yes, because what it is he's reporting.
He was documenting.
He was documenting, he was reporting, he was engaging, but in a very fun way. You could see, how he was engaging with the different people, experiencing the different cultures and the food. And it was just like, oh my God, like I wish I could have, I'm going to say something that could get me in trouble, but I really wish I could have met someone like Anthony Bourdain as a colleague, strictly, and just travel the world and just,
It is you could see him in different places, and it's like it's almost like he becomes a chameleon in such environments.
I know, especially because
when he went to Nigeria, he was just like
he becomes you, because that's the effect that people have. That's because people have that magical effect on you. Especially if you're a people person, you just light up. You become what's in front of you, and that just tells you that we all have within us different aspects of us that will never probably see the light of day, because life just forces us to maybe, be in certain places and just not do, and just be, you know what I mean? We are more than we can ever imagine that we are, if that makes sense. So for instance, the people who think that maybe blackness is this or whiteness is this, they haven't even lived to explore the part of them that fully and wholly embraces that. You know what I mean?
It's so interesting, because there's something that I didn't get it until now.
Mm-hmm.
So in Paris, the French, it's like, because my niece just got married to a French guy and all that stuff. And,
nice.
And it was very interesting because they were in that environment, and some of them couldn't speak English, some could, but
mm-hmm.
it was like, I was already on the perception like, oh wait, we're in a world where everybody must be trying to learn to speak English, but they didn't have to, because they didn't want to.
Exactly.
They know where they came from and all of that.
It's like a quiet revolt in Europe.
It's not even a revolt. It's just, I don't think it's a revolt. To them, it's just the life. Now,
mm-hmm.
for me, it's like, when I went to Paris, France. I wasn't in Paris. When I was in France, there was something that was very interesting. It's like,
mm-hmm.
the people there they didn't seem to understand why I wasn't learning French. It was almost like, and there was the beauty. Now, what makes me say that is, it's almost like they were under the impression, or more like someone was literally giving me a lecture in the fact, like, I can speak French if I want to. It's not that hard. And initially I was saying, I was already telling this guy, like, I don't know, I'm not good with languages and all.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought about it though, like, if I get stuck in there for about 3-4 weeks and I have to speak the language, I will learn the language.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So so I see where they are coming from. So basically, just piggybacking on what you just said earlier on, is we are capable of everything. I mean, literally, I literally woke up in the middle of the night. I just woke up and I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to do a movie. And boom. I didn't know how to. Yes. I hadn't done it before. I knew how to write, but I didn't know how to do movies.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, what you said it is the fact.
Yeah.
We can do anything we want to do.
We totally can. We just have to give ourselves permission. And life just, I can speak as an immigrant, moving to a whole different continent at this time of my life. You find yourself just playing by the rules, just simply because you want, and if you have kids as well, you just have to keep that structure. As opposed to if I lived in Nigeria, I would be more gutsy. I would take chances simply because I was born in this area and I kind of feel like I can wing it. But here you're bound by not just societal expectations, you're bound by that everywhere, but you're bound by, just trying to be sure, because you just took this whole maybe decade to assimilate, and then you're scared to just branch out and just maybe rock the boat, is what I'm trying to say. And so you find that you could fall into the category of people that just live a very basic lifestyle just because you don't want to color outside the lines, if that makes any sense, because you're just trying to be safe. You're trying to play it safe, basically, is what I'm saying. So this is interesting. I wish we could do this every week or every other week.
Okay. Yeah, we've been here for what? What's that one?
Over an hour.
I don't know how long this thing's supposed to last, but this is quite a while.
It's about an hour and 10 minutes, but it's within the time frame. It's perfect for our purpose. But it's really great. It's really great speaking with you. Like, I would really love to learn more about, or have you come on to talk more about your books and even your movies, even before they come out, because I think that you as an artist, it's great that people understand your motivations, especially.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
It scares me with my books because I hardly go back to read them. So when I go on these book fairs and they start asking me questions on my books, most times it's like I have to dig deep.
To remember, yeah.
Someone quoted a line from the book, and I was like, "Oh, really? What's that?" And till today, I can swear that guy didn't believe I wrote that book. But I mean, still.
That is hilarious. You know that, right?
Yeah, I have to. I mean, it's crazy. I have to. It's like now I've learned book fairs. I try and get a refresher on the book.
Mm-hmm.
And, but anyway, that's it. I apologize.
But that's great. That's great.
Thank you for having me.
Well done.
So much fun.
Yeah, no. This is thank you for coming on. I mean, we planned this like last year, and then eventually this year you ended up, traveling the week of,
I apologize for that. Yeah.
No need to apologize at all. No need to apologize. Yeah, we're just grateful that you found the time to come on the show today, and and hopefully we'll have you, come on more because there's so much to talk about. Okay.